There's lots happening right now. But let's get on with it. Let's go. Hey, let me remind you that trading's risky, not appropriate for everyone. Your past performance, good or bad, is not necessarily indicative of future results, but please always stay small, stay humble, focus on the long term, never risk money, cannot afford to lose. Hey, my name is Wayne. Let me know how it can help. Hey, there's stuff going on. We were at 152 on USD yen, and then we're at 151 on USD yen, and now we're at 151.50, and that's all in the last 20 minutes. Holy smokes. So we gather here today to conduct technical and fundamental analysis with the overriding goal of finding some second career for retired supermodels like you and I. You have to put the supermodels back out into the wild once they hit 30. Allow them to fend for themselves. So ask questions, get involved. Treat each other with dignity and respect. In the description below the video, you will see links to all kinds of wonderful resources, links to FX Bootcamp, a link to the Strategic and Tactical Forex Trading Guide on Amazon.com, a link to TradersWay.com, an ethical, trustworthy foreign exchange broker, links to Paradise. So, if you need help, there's free videos, there's paid videos, there's books, there's all kinds of resources, no matter what your modality. Look, I've only done 6,000 videos on YouTube, which on average are probably more than an hour each. So we're probably approaching 10,000 hours of free content. You're welcome, by the way. I hope it helps. But reach out to FX Bootcamp or reach out to Traders Way. You need those resources. All right, so this is what's happened in the last 20, 30 minutes. I was out watching it on my phone. We were right here on my phone. I was out walking the dog, and then all of a sudden I'm dragging the dog back to the house. Okay, so anyways, holy smokes. Everything was right as rain. And then holy smokes. Now, for those in my day trading group, we talked about this for 3, 4, 5 days in a row. I said, be aware of the risks, but why are you afraid? What are you afraid of? Are you making up the fear? I said last night, when this is at 250, not 150. I said, when we're at 250, won't you look back and kind of giggle at yourself for being afraid at 150? If you're afraid at 150, you'll be afraid of 160. You'll be afraid of 170. You'll be afraid of 180, 190. 200 will bring fear. I'm like, you're making the fear up. Yes, you should be cautious, but you should be well trained. Get out of the Humvee and return fire. Get out of the foxhole. I gotta move. Give me the juice. So anyways, I hope that helped. Okay. So we have a question here. After performing fundamentals, how do you know which levels you should use to buy and sell? Well, that's called technical analysis. Okay. Anyways, there you go. Diogo's like, run, run, dog, run. I'm like, bitch, Get your ass home. Anyways, yeah, we were running. I can't yell at her, though, because she's deaf. So, you know, you have to pat her on the back. Come on, baby. Come on, please. I want to go home. Anyways, yeah. Well, you know, it happened to me during Brexit, too. I was actually in the shower watching the charts. I know, right? Yes, literally, I'm in the shower, rain falling out of the rain head onto the human head, and I'm watching the charts. And then there was Brexit, and I had to jump out of the shower, and I'm trading Brexit on my phone. Absolutely, totally butt naked, huge puddle of water on the bathroom floor, and I'm like, sell. This was kind of like that, where I'm like, go! Now, look, it only dropped 100 pips. That's not intervention. If it was intervention, the central bank would have fired for effect. But it shows you how spooked the herd is, huh? Thank you, Grind. All right, so la 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 do 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 bo 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 bo. Just like, it's so funny, like it's so far and so fast. Just so loufle tout le monde. Anyway, so yeah, do what you got to do, son. All right, I'm going to move off the yen pairs. Otherwise, I won't be able to talk about anything. If there is intervention, one of the things I talked about in the swing trading group last night, and by the way, thank you for a wonderful 4 hours in the swing trading group last night. I really had a great time. I thought the conversation was fantastic and the analysis was second to none. Like, you guys are really a class act. One of the things we talked about is if there is intervention on the yen, that the US dollar will weaken. And so we can see on some of these moves here, just in the last bit, you know, we had a big drop when it was strong, and now there's a lot of weakness, and now it's coming right back. Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know, and a lot of people have to make themselves vulnerable in those meetings, and I appreciate it. I mean, that's what makes it so good. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so pound is, you know, as you know, one of my favorites for selling. And it has rolled over. For sure. Okay? For sure, says the hairless cat. Yeah, David, that's easy. Your stop is too close or your entries suck. It's one of them. Okay, cut your lot size, increase your stop. Okay? Because that's all it could be, right? It's either your execution, you're selling too early, too late, at the wrong price, whatever. There's an execution problem, or there's a management problem. It's going to be one of those two things, David. Okay, so anyways, going into here, you can see when I drew this, of course, it was before it happened, but we actually talked about the potential of that head and shoulders. Okay, look at that. Okay. We also talked, I think, at the time where I think we were using a Fibonacci study on this as well, and that we really don't want it to go higher than this because then it becomes an issue of not making a lower low. But nonetheless, this is where we find ourselves now. Very cool. Right, Lucas, that's what most people, that would be the problem for most people, Lucas. I think we all do that because you want to remove the risk as much as possible. Right? But that's actually like a psychological issue. Maybe when I get to the writing the book on trader psychology, maybe I'll talk about that. But that's because your goal is to not lose money. Okay? 99% of the time, you mentally have decided you're not going to lose money. So you don't. So the only way to break it, right? Well, the mayor says playing it too safe. Yeah, well, that was your goal. See, if your goal was to make money, you would behave differently. So you are carrying out your psychological strategy, whether it's subliminal or subconscious or not. That's the game you're playing, and you're playing it really well. Right? So I think the only way to get through that, and that's what we were talking about with Darko last night at the end of the meeting. What I would do if I were me is I would keep doing what I'm doing, managing the best I can, because look, not losing money is a good start. It's not the point, it's not the purpose of your job as a money manager. People don't pay you to not lose money, right? But we know how hard and how difficult and how challenging it is to be a trader, so that's a good first step. But here's the thought, Lucas, right? Place your trade and then do the same trade on a demo. On the real account, manage it the best you can, make the best decisions you can, do what you got to do. But then leave it on the demo. And after a year of doing this, if your trades do better when you don't mess with them, you will see it over and over and over again. And after a year, you will slowly change your behavior because now for example, let's say psychologically, you're going to make money on most of your trades. Then you don't move your stop early. But you got to get to that point where for you, it's all about making money. Your trades are good trades. Okay? Your trades are good trades. You know it. And so to move the stop early would to deny yourself of your destiny, and you won't do it anymore. Okay. Question here is, hey, is it possible to be successful at trading without fundamentals? Yes, if you're tiny and small. Will you ever get filthy, stinking rich without fundamentals? Absolutely not. You will stay small and tiny. You'll make some money, but you'll never make a lot of money. Okay? And to contrast that, all the biggest Forex traders in the world, the ones that have earned $1 billion personally, don't use technicals at all. So is it possible possible to be successful at trading without fundamentals. You can scalp and spot all you want, and you'll make money, you'll make income. And that's possible. Okay? The problem is, after a while, you realize it doesn't really pay you enough for your time. So what you'll do is you will increase your lot sizes, and that's when you've just destroyed your business. See, you have to think of it as a business. Okay? So you have to decide, do you want to be a fast food restaurant or a grocery store? Fast food restaurant, lots of little customers come in, boom, $5, $5, $5, $5, $5. But at the end of the day, you're like, oh my God, I'm so freaking exhausted. And then what? Well, then tomorrow, more people have to show up. $5, $5, $5, $5, $5. And if people don't show up, well, you spent all your $5, right? All those $5 bills you collected. Meanwhile, you're just buying the food. Or you could be the grocery store. Somehow that makes sense. I think it's in there somewhere. It's a good analogy somewhere. But yeah, you want to be bigger. So anyways, look, if you're going to be a professional, you need to explain what's happening now and what's going to happen in the future. It's just that simple. And if you can do that, then that's how you're going to trade. Once again, it's that simple. The psychological part that we're talking now, that actually just takes experience, right? Like, for example, Lucas says he moves a stop too soon. Lucas is a great trader. Lucas is going to be very successful. So now he's just figuring out his risk management side of his game, which is fine. Okay. So that's how I would do that, Lucas, is I would continue doing what I'm doing. Don't change anything with your money, with the real account. Grab a demo and try not managing it. Just put your normal stop, never move your stop to break even. Just don't manage it. Just let it run and see what happens. Yeah, I guess that's what it is, Maida. It's something like that, right? Lucas, yeah, it's a work. It's always a risk. I fear sometimes that I come across like I know everything and you should have known such things and that I'm the perfect trader. I don't believe any of that. I believe after 20 years, this is still hard work. That there are very, very tough decisions to make very, very often. And so what I hope I do as a coach and as a mentor is to explain the strife that I'm going through in that moment to make decisions. That's the difficult part. Okay. Making these decisions is a constant battle, and you never know the answer. You never know the answer. You never, ever know the answer. So that's the reality of it. Even when you have 20 years of experience and you're great at technicals and you're good at fundamentals, you really honestly don't know the future, but you can have a pretty reasonable painting of it and do your best to create that future. And when you're wrong, that's when you're trying to protect the capital. But being wrong should be, let's say, not as common as being right. Hopefully you're right more than you're wrong. Okay. Brew. It takes years of studies getting graduation and master's degree in economics, finance, etc., plus the CFA exams, plus internship to have experience in trading floors. Right? And people think without studies, yeah, that you could just sit and do it. Yeah. Sit at home and print money. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I mean, right? Is that something that you did? Come on. Yeah, well, yeah, that is it, Doug. That's exactly it. I've only said I use the 5-minute chart to enter trades. I didn't say to manage trades. You know, what I've said many times, Doug, actually is, the vast majority of time, I come back the next day before I move my stop. And of course, I wouldn't do that because of a 5-minute chart. I do it because a day has passed and I'm like, oh, look, it's made a lower low, move the stop down. Oh, look at that. It's made a higher high, move the stop up. Okay, so in fact, like what I teach in the course is, let's say, I guess I have to just make this blank or something. Hang on. Okay, so let's say we have a double top, okay, and a lower low. Okay, this is what I'm going to do every time, by the way. I'm going to look at this area here for a sell. Okay. And it's going to come up and then drop. So when I sell it, my stop's going to be here. So now our question that we're discussing, and this is, let's say, a 4-hour chart. Okay? So now what? When do I move my stop? Okay, well, we've made a new lower low, so I'm going to drag that across. So now if it does this, okay, upon making this lower low, okay, I move this one down. This comes down. And I get it to here. Okay. So I have an entry and an exit about the same price. And so I'll make that decision either here when it starts to drop or on the break. So once it's technically a lower low, I jam my stop. And then if it does it this time, I'll enter a second trade here. I typically don't here because there's just not enough money on the first move. Was that helpful? Cool beans? Nice. Yeah, dollar weakness. I guess we got to flip back over. Wowzer, huh? Damn, boy. Uh-huh. Somebody's dumping dollars, man. Now I have the Bank of Japan website, but I don't see any sort of like an announcement of intervention. So I'm keeping my eye on that. Of course, they typically would be closed right now, so that's the interesting thing, right? Yeah, how about those pips? Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. Well, look, like again in the day trading group, I've been pushing people to do what needs to get done. We did it on Sunday and Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday and again last night in the swing trading group, although we focused on more other things, but definitely in the day trading group, I spent hours every day. Well, let's say at least an hour every day. Like, look, we're kind of forced to sell the yen. I'm like, we kind of just have to do it, but it's dangerous. And I'd had all these fun analogies. With the dollar pairs, I'm like, we need to just watch these from afar and we don't want to even enter those battles. So we're kind of forced to jump into the yen. But then everyone's afraid of intervention. So I had to come up with all kinds of funny stories about skinny bears hiding behind trees. But it was more like, dude, you can handle this. Get out of the Humvee and return fire. You're trained. You can handle that. If you get ambushed by the Bank of Japan, you'll be able to handle it. But get in the game. Okay? Is it possible to hold a position for a year? In which time frame do you enter? The answer is yes. Although there's seasonality issues to that where that may not be the best strategy. But yeah, the answer is yes. Is it possible to hold a trade for a year? Yes. Okay, what time frame? Well, typically you're making that decision based on macroeconomics. So the time frame isn't the most important thing. That's just simply your entry. But you have to make that based on macroeconomics. There's no other way of doing it. Okay? Or you're using a technical method in which you catch a long-term fundamental trade. The thing is, you never know why it's doing it. Now, a lot of trend traders, they don't care. They don't want to know why. They're just like, well, it crossed below the 20 EMA, so I sell. But then I'm like, well, how do you know when to get out? And they're like, well, and there's a significant pullback and eventually something else crosses and then they get out. And I'm like, yeah, well, you don't know why you're in the trade. And now you don't know why to get out of the trade. I'm like, that's mediocre at best. You're always going to be late and you're always going to be late. Meaning you're late to get in, you're late to get out. So you're probably going to leave 60% of the money on the table. I'm like, that has to be a flawed strategy. If you understood the why, meaning macroeconomics, you could prepare for the entry. You could take the entry sooner, but when the fundamentals change, you can get out sooner as well and still not have a perfect trade. But when you're combining fundamentals with technicals, you're going to get a better entry and a better exit, and you'll probably make twice as much money as your turtle trading system because you need to know the why. So if you're going to be in a trade for a year, you have to know why. And it's 99% of the time going to be based on a change in central banking policy. Okay. So I think the last time I was in a trade that long, what was it, Turkish lira? I was in for 10 months. Oh, yeah, Grind mentions that 10 months. Yeah, I don't know if that's a record. It was certainly not a record for me, but on the coaching account, probably. Grind, do you remember how many pips I made on that trade after 10 months? Does anybody remember how many pips I made? After 10 months. Yeah, 0. I moved my stop to, right? I moved my stop to 0. Grind says 10,000 pips. Not on that one. I had my stop at break even. So I got 0. Okay. Does anyone, yeah, 0 pips. Okay. Yeah, it's true. Of course it's true. Does anyone remember the internal rate of return? Because remember, I made no pips, but I collected interest for 10 months. Yeah, right around 1,000. Am I rich? No, I am beautiful. Yeah, let's move over to gold and all that kind of stuff. Let's do gold, oil, and Bitcoin. So look at this. No, I'm going to get knocked out. No. Hang on, a little higher, just above that. No, I'm going to get knocked out of my beautiful gold trade. No, stupid intervention. But I told you guys that if there is a intervention situation, US dollar is going to weaken. And so now it has. There you go. Yeah, it's setting up better prices. Thank you, Richard. See? Amazing though. How? This is why you do use stops. How long will it last? Well, I don't know that either, do I? I don't know that either. There's no way I could know how long that's going to last. So we could ask different questions. Okay, like statistically, you can use, like, this is a combination of linear regression and standard deviation, what I call price action pivot points. We could look at things like, this is a sell zone for November. So has anything actually changed? No, not really. Right now, okay, somebody, presumably the Bank of Japan, are selling dollars to buy yen. Nobody's buying gold. You have to understand that. That's right, Richard. Yeah. The last intervention had dropped almost exactly 500 pips. But yeah, you guys, I noticed some of people are still answering. That's true. I made 0 pips on the USD Turkish lira trade, but I made 1,000% internal rate of return, not return on investment. Okay. So anywho, so what do you want to do? Well, it depends if you're playing this as a bottom. If it's a bottom, you got to be careful. Okay. At some point, we have to prep for the U.S. election. And, you know, that's only, what, 20 days away? Less than 20 days away. So, is it now? Yeah, you know, yeah, could be. Okay. Or we wait for this to settle down and it kind of starts to roll over and we drop it off that 21. Now, you see the failed trade plan here? So it looks like, right? I'm out of the trade. Okay, I'm out. Never lost money. But I sold here. Why did I sell here? No, Luis, I used Trader's Way and I earned a positive swap. Right. I sold it off the 4-hour 21. That's it. Just like this, just like this, just like this. You guys remember? Look. It's still there. Look at this. Do you remember when I drew the ellipse? I don't draw very many ellipses, right? Look at that. So short here, short here, short here, right? Short here. And then we hit a support. And now it might be taking us neutral, or intervention will just kind of fizzle out and it'll roll back over. Okay? But it does matter that we are at support now. Okay, that was the plan of taking that down. And, well, things may have fundamentally changed for now. Okay. Okay, let's look at oil. I find this interesting. I'm very, very, very much a bull on oil. All these orange or red lines are me showing you support and resistance. Okay. So the idea here, if you recall, maybe go back 1 week, you'll see we started this upward movement and I said, that's all fine and dandy, but I'm not interested until we clear through all this resistance and it becomes support. It's just price action. Again, it's not some weird genius or something. It's just price action. So then we finally get a higher high, which means all the amateurs start jumping on and chasing it instead of waiting for it to come back. Look, this is the pattern. That's all it is. That's it. That's all it is. Breakout, pull back, buy it, go. Then you're going to say, well, Wayne, how do you know it's there? Well, you don't. So when do you make a decision? Okay. It's much more relevant. When do you decide that it held? Okay. In here or in here? Okay. And again, you'll probably challenge me. But how do you know? And when do you do it? And I'm like, dude, how do you know is your whole purpose of trading? If you don't know what you intend to do, that is your failure right there. Goes back to the person who asked about, can you trade successfully without fundamentals? Only if you're going to stay broke, right? You're not going to be a big trader. Okay? You'll never, what you do is just not scalable. So it's not a criticism. It's just sort of a factual analysis of your business model. It won't get big. It will earn money if you're really, really good at trading. Like if you're really good at technical analysis, really good at like scalping and spot trading. Yeah, you'll make money, sure. You'll just never make a lot of money. Okay? So what I ask you to do is you already know if you want to buy or sell WTI. And if I asked you why, you could give me a PowerPoint presentation. And I'm like, whoa. Okay, I got you. Okay? So you have absolute, total, clear intent. Okay, do you understand? Crystal clear intent. And that's how you know when you start to buy at support. Okay? And buy dips. And probably continue to buy dips. So you're going to say, la, 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 la. Okay? And maybe, just maybe, I'm not saying this is the right thing because I don't know. But if you were a bull, you would look at that as a possible opportunity. Will you make money or lose money? Well, time will tell. Time doesn't change the fact that at least on a 5-minute chart, okay, on a 5-minute chart, I look at this fractal. I looked at this fractal. I look at this fractal. I look at this fractal. What do you think? Could that possibly act as support? Yeah, it's possible. Well, then that's the basis of a trade plan. How do I know? I don't know. I only know that it's support. I only know that I'm a bull. But do I know if price is going to hold here and then make a higher high? No. Okay. Big volatility. So I lost my gold trade. I lost my Bitcoin trade. Well, that's why. Oh, no, I'm still in Bitcoin. Oh, shit. Sorry. No, I'm still in Bitcoin. I don't know how long that'll last. We'll find out. Yeah, fire your weapon, keep moving. No, this would be whatever. If this is central bank intervention, it doesn't feel like it is, but it's acting like it is. So it's not just yen strength, but it's dollar weakness. And if it is intervention, then the Bank of Japan is selling dollars and they're not selling gold. Because if they were selling gold, gold would be coming down. So this isn't end of week profit taking. No. This is intervention of some sort. Now, I'm surprised by how small it is. That's what she said. Okay. Well, no, but that's a significant amount of money, Hope. That's more than a usual amount of money as we hit 152. Okay. So to get the market to move that far, that fast, I mean, it's only 100 pips, but it's only 100 pips now. So that's what I'm saying, like, the fact that it only dropped 100 pips kind of makes me feel like it's not intervention. But when was the last time that happened? Okay. You know, it's significant. What can I say? Yeah. Well, it's one of those things like if you're going to sell it, sell high. Now I'm coaching, so I can't be trading. I did have one at 50 on this, and then because of coaching, moved my stop fairly quickly. It came up, took me out. It's coming back down. But nonetheless, if you're going to trade this to the downside, just be smart about it. Like I could do like this, drop into a fiver, and trade price action from here. All we've done here is we're just kind of figuring out the EMA. Okay, you can project forward if you want. Okay. So if you're going to be a bear on it today, sell lower highs and exit on a higher high. And I would consider it short term. This is when scalping, I think, would be appropriate. I don't think this is the end of the trend. Okay. Oh, thank you, Hope. Well, it's not that the yen pairs are screaming, but maybe it is. But yeah, so like, yeah, there's a lot of interesting things going on here, for sure. So you might be on Aussie yen today. You might be on Kiwi yen today. Maybe you're on CAD yen today. But I'm going to leave you with this thought. Since it's the weekend, we'll keep it short. I drew that pattern out on the charts in September. was the last week of September. Okay? And we were somewhere in this area here. And I had to squeeze this analysis in because I only had the little bit on the right side available. Okay? And what we see is, let's make it fatter than that. Okay, we have up, then I have down, then I have up to 110.63. We're at 105 when I drew it. So, is it craziness? Is it volatility? Is it central bank intervention? Is it news related? Did the president of this country say this? Did the prime minister of that country say that? Did blah, 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 blah. Or maybe it's just the trade. Okay? Maybe it's M2 to M4. And that's all it is. Once again, I think when you're drilled into the 5-minute chart only, and you have the TV running in the background and they're telling you all this important stuff that's coming up next, PPI, and you're like, PPI, oh my God, that's going to move the market. Settle down, brother. Settle down. I think there's a lot of logic in how the market is moving. Okay? If you're panicking, if you're trading with fear, at best, you're jamming your stops. At worst, you're making really piss poor trades out of emotional duress and not out of, intellectual decision making. So we have a lot of news under the bridge with Canada here, lots of water on the bridge over yen. A lot has occurred over the last 3 or 4 weeks. But that's a very basic pattern. Okay? It's a very basic pattern. We were able to draw it out in advance. Okay? No, I haven't met Billy. I think he's made some good trades. I like how he handled COVID. But like everybody else, he's also made mistakes. But I wouldn't say he's a dummy. Okay? But he's an old white guy with gray hair, so obviously he's rich. So anyways, thank you for being part of this community. I appreciate you. I hope I bring calmness and logic to an otherwise scary, chaotic world. I don't think you need to be locked in your basement. I think the zombie apocalypse is delayed. I don't think the sky is falling. I think we have real challenges around the world based on poor economic policies by governments. But governments are the ones that create these trends. So good or bad, it honestly doesn't matter. Because you're going to be able to make money. Now, your neighbors are screwed. Your family's screwed. Everybody else is screwed. But if we go into a global recession and you're a rich Forex trader, it just means everything you want to buy, now that you have a ton of money, what you'll find is everything is on sale. You're like, dude, not only do I have a ton of money, but everything is half price. Cars are half price. Rolex watches, half price. Apartment buildings and houses, half price. You're like, dude, Dude, what a great time to be rich. Recessions are fantastic. If you have the capability of making money during that period. Well, everybody else is choking on their own blood, losing their job, losing their income, losing value in their assets. It's the perfect time to be rich. You don't want to be rich when everybody else is rich, because then you're not rich. You're average. Everybody's rich, so you're just average. So that means the price of houses have doubled, price of cars have doubled. You can't afford anything because everybody's got money. Okay? That's foolish capitalism, by the way. Now, socialism does the same thing. Everybody's equally poor. If everybody's poor, then everybody's just as rich as the other person. It's kind of like everybody being rich. Well, then nobody's rich because everybody's got the same. But in a true world, what will happen is some are more prepared than others. Some have more skills than others. Some make better decisions than others. And some have better opportunities than others. But Forex doesn't care what your religion is. Forex doesn't care what country you're in. Forex doesn't care about what religion or who you make love to. It doesn't care what school your mommy and daddy went to, what private clubs your mommy and daddy were part of. It doesn't care. This is an equal opportunity, right? If you have access to your charts via the internet, you have money in a brokerage firm, you understand technical analysis, you understand fundamental analysis, and now you could trade like a hedge fund manager if you so choose. Or you could stay small and stay poor and go after the pennies, pick up $1 here and there, skippity scalp. But you'll never get big. You'll never change your life. You'll never take it to another level. I'm telling you, because you need scale. And I get, my background is venture capital and high-tech startups in the Silicon Valley. That's what I was doing before I was a Forex guy. And I can tell you, it's as a VC, the way we think is it's all about scale. I look at a potential investment and I think, can I scale this? Can I sell 100 million units? Can I, if it's like a restaurant, how quickly can I open more locations? How fast can I get to 100? How fast can I get to 1,000? How fast can I get to 10,000? How can if I invest today, do I get the next Starbucks? That's what it's about. Scale. What I mean in Forex is instead of making 5 trades a day and then those trades are gone, then tomorrow you got no trades. It's like you have a coffee company, but every day you close down your locations and the next day you have to open up new locations. You're like, well, dude, every day you start a new day and you don't have any coffee stores. I know, not the best example, but it's an example. Look, it'd be great if you woke up you opened your charts on Monday and you had 5 trades. And then by Wednesday, you have 8 trades. And 2 weeks later, you have 15 trades. Now, you got losers along the way. You have break-evens along the way. But after a couple of weeks, okay, you got 14 or 15 trades on. That's only 1 trade a day. Hey, in 3 months, you're approaching triple digits. You have 100 trades open, all profitable. Well, how do you do that, Wayne? Well, you need to know the fundamentals. You need to know macroeconomics. You need to know the trend and why it's trending that way. But also, your goal is, out of all your trades, let's say you do 5 trades a day, your goal is to keep one open and let it run. And let it run, and let it run, and let it run. What you will find is you'll do okay picking up pennies. You'll do okay picking up, taking 25 pips here, 12 pips there. Good, 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 fine, fine, fine. We all got to make money. I have no problem with that. But if you do want to get filthy, stinking rich, one day, it still might take you 20 years, you need to focus on growing your startup. You got to get big by thinking big and then acting big. And acting big is not placing big trades. That's for fools. There's no better way to get small than betting big. It's practically guaranteed you will lose because it's a loser's strategy. It's a loser's thought process. Okay? When people bet big, it's because they have nothing to lose. It's a loser's thought process. A winner says, I can't afford to lose this money. I got money. I'm rich. I don't want to lose I don't want to gamble and go get poor. So the other way then is scale. How can I, in let's say 100 days, get 100 trades open? Well, you'll probably have to make 500 trades in that period. Many break-evens, a few losers, a few smaller winners. But on average, once a day, one of your trades sticks and runs. Well, I want you to think about this. If you were able to stay in those trades for 100 days, many of your trades are going to be up 300 or 400 pips. Many. You don't know because you've never tried. Now you need to know things like seasonality, and what you'll find out is there's better times of the year to try and other times of the year not a good time to try. But that's now you're talking about real advanced trading. You need to know seasonality. You need to know macroeconomics like inflation levels, employment levels, interest rate differentials amongst economies, so on and so forth. You need to do technical analysis and be able to project into the future. You need to know institutional positioning. You'll need to know retail positioning to know when the market is heavy or light. And you need to be able to predict the future. That's what we did in the swing trading group yesterday. I busted out 5 currency pairs that are not good setups now. I want you to think about that. We broke into 5 groups. Each group got a different currency pair. And every single one of them was a bad trade. A bad trade now. So what about the future? And that's what we focus on. Because everybody in that swing trading group already knows now. They're already making money now. What's next? That's your alpha. Do you understand? That's when you get big. When you can say, I understand what's happening now. I understand the rationale for what is happening now. And I'm making money on that now. What's next? What's next? That's the big deal. That's your value. That's how you make money, because when you're ready, willing, and able to recognize the next opportunity, you will have the strength and fortitude to get out of bed and do what needs to get done. And then, are you listening to me? And then you let it run. You let it run. You let it run. You let it run. You get another one. Let it run. Get another one. Let it run. Days and days go by. Get another one. Let it run. Get another one. Let it run. More days, more weeks are going by. Get more trades in. Let it run. Now, to balance, because you know that there are pullbacks and all these things, and that's hard. I get it. It's always hard. So one thing I often do is I put limit orders either at 333 or 555. And that's when you scale out. It's not a perfect, but you're like, hey, I'm going to risk 100 pips to make 300 pips. But your business, because remember, this is just a business. And one day almost certainly you're going to manage other people's money. You might say to me now, like, Wayne, I don't plan on managing other people's money. I can give you a full presentation why you should manage other people's money. So you'll get there, trust me. It's in your best interest. Okay? So when you're in that 100, 300 OCO business, then what you're doing now as a career, as a job, as a business, enter another one, let it run. Enter another one, let it run. Enter another one, let it run. Okay? Okay. How many people here took my trading challenge, okay, and made 10,000 pips in a month? Do you guys remember that? It's all custom code. It's pretty complicated. It cost me a lot of money to build it. Hmm? 10,000 pips in a month. All I wanted to prove to you is that you're up until then, you didn't even think that was possible. I wanted to shatter your entire notion of what you believed was truth. Because I get emails from gurus and they're like, we made over 200 pips last month. You should pay us money. I'm like, that's a trade, not a month. What are you talking about? So if you heard 500 pips, you might say, man, that's amazing. Or if I said 1,000 pips, you would say, that's hard to believe. But if I said, you can make 10,000 pips in a month, you're like, that's just stupid. That's just impossible. That's just absolutely, totally impossible. It's ridiculous to even say it. And I think that's the problem. Okay? It's not your fault. It's not your fault. You didn't know. Was Jim the only one here? Really? Jim's the only one that did that exercise? Yeah. Oh, interesting. Well, I'm retiring it. I'm retiring that. I don't want to lose the code. I wonder if it can be tweaked somehow. Probably not. Really? You got that only? Well, I guess maybe it's Friday. A lot of people are not here. But yeah, okay. But there's got to be 25 people, FX boot campers, right? Where is it? I don't want to say because I'm retiring it, right? But I'm going to guess there's 25 boot campers approximately that were given a challenge. We gave them something to add to an MT4, and it pulled up the data from a real period of time. They had 1 month. There were rules. You can only trade a certain lot size. You could only, was it like no loss as well? Was that part of it, Jim? You couldn't even take a loss. You could only trade so many times a day. Couldn't take a loss. And you had to make 10,000 pips, okay, by the end of the month. And if you only made 9,000 at the end of the month, you failed. Okay? Yeah, and you had to start over. And so what happened is you got practice scaling. So you had to like enter a trade, let it run, enter a trade, let it run, enter a trade, let it run, enter a trade, enter a trade, enter a trade. Yeah. And so the minimum was 10,000 pips. And I think quite a few people got like 11, 12, and 13,000 pips with that exercise. And it's inconceivable, but only because you didn't know. I'll have to see. I'm spending $300 a month hosting that practice, that app, if you will, and nobody's used it in a year. Okay. When am I releasing the super secret, fundamentally based alert service? I think about it all day. I'm trying, man. There are things that I'm developing for it. I got a project right now that I'm working to tweak. I got some very, I'd say, exciting news to release, but I can't do it yet. And I want to build a little presentation too, so that, 6 months from now, when someone runs across the service, and they don't know me, they don't come to the webinars, they just, let's say, come in from an ad on YouTube or on Google, that there's some sort of like presentation they can watch to understand the value behind what it is. So I'm writing that, but I'm delayed, obviously. Okay. Yeah, Denise, it's old school. Yeah, I spent thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars hosting or building the technology. Ryan managed a project with a development team, I believe out of Russia at the time, because it was a couple of years ago. And yeah, so I put in the thousands of dollars. Ryan put in the hundreds of hours of time, and we developed this. And now we're not using it, and I'm still paying $300 a month to host it. We have all this custom code. Nobody's using it. So I was thinking about just pulling the plug. But for those 25 people, okay, I lost a lot of money. But for those 25 people, it might have been a game changer. Do I go somewhere to get fundamental news? Okay, are you talking about news? Because that's economic, not fundamental. So if you're talking about where do I get like the CPI? Well, that's what I consider calendar release data. CPI to me is news. It's not fundamental. Yeah. No, then you have to go to my super secret fundamentally based alert service. I'll put the link. It's still a secret right now, so don't let anybody know. But that's the answer to that. But news, yes, I would say FX Street's great for news. For sort of television, I switch between Bloomberg. I listen to Bloomberg radio in the morning in the shower. Sometimes I watch CNBC. I kind of like the halftime Fast Money show. If I'm outside smoking cigars and watching the market, I'll pop one of those up and watch CNBC. Do I have a Bloomberg terminal? No, I don't see how it's worth $1,200 a month, but it's interesting. And then, of course, the super secret fundamentally based alert service I own. And will probably one day maybe become the new Bloomberg terminal. All right, so that's it. There's a lot of work I need to do today, and I'm already tired. So this is very interesting. Okay, notice that we're trying to make a breach here of, the channel. So mark your lines. Okay, mark my territory this way is how I know it. So now I have a trap and break, and then I want to mark that. So if I were scalping this, I'd be in a trap and break mode. Okay, which means your opportunity in the next few minutes is one of these. We don't know which one, of course, but it could be this. Let me make that a little thinner. Okay, you want to look for this, or you want to wait for this. So trap and break. Cranky bits, no. Yeah. Well, if you have serious money, maybe start an offshore business. But, I'm not your lawyer. I'm not your accountant. I'm not your priest, and I'm not your bartender. So that's going to be for you to decide. But that is plausible. But I thought maybe once a year we can meet up in the Caribbean for those Americans that want to set up offshore accounts and meet with international attorney and maybe domicile somewhere in the Caribbean and have them set up your company and write your bylaws, because you need to have real bylaws. For those that just buy, let's say for an American that wants to incorporate their trading firm and they just go to some LLC.com and buy some online crappy bylaws, you're really doing yourself a disservice. You're not fooling anybody. You need bylaws written specifically to be a Forex trading firm. You understand? Because when the NFA audits you, and you will get audited, I'll guarantee it multiple times. I can even help you prepare for them if you want. But the thing is, if you don't have bylaws written to be a speculative foreign exchange trader, when you get audited or worse, sued, your company is just worthless. And you're like, but I incorporated so to have limited liability. You're like, yeah, well, your company's crap because you spent $150 using some .com, instead of actually hiring a lawyer that understands finance and trading, right? You understand the difference? So you can't go cheap, and you can't invest crap and expect to get quality, right? But it'd be cool if we all met up in the Caribbean and a lawyer was there and he explained everything, or she explained everything, and then you kind of walk over to the other room, swipe a credit card, and in 2 weeks you got a business, and in 4 weeks you got a bank account, and in 6 weeks you got a trading account, and it's all done legally and ethically, right? All communicated properly with the authorities. Hey, if we get to party in the Caribbean once a year and then you get the help you need, dude, why the heck not? And if we do it during, right? If we do it during the hurricane season, we can get it cheap. We can get the hotel for cheap. Anyways, hey, peace on earth. May the pips be with you. May our profits be above average. Cheers.